Technology is driving change across all areas of society. Not only we increasingly use it and rely on it in personal life, but we also find workplace is digitally evolving with more and more processes is now being undertaken using technology. Why these are happening? With collection of analysis with real-time data, artificial intelligence, and the ability for all components of production line to talk to each other, production can be really efficient and personalized according to customer needs. What fourth industrial revolution means to us? With increased automation, our time will be freedom from concentrating to more complex tasks. We will need a workforce of capable of building, programming, and developing these technologies, and also making sure that they are applying them to our lives in an ethical way. This change is known as the fourth industrial revolution or Industry 4.0. The world of work will be radically different in the future, from hyper surveillance of staff to digital nomadism to robots taking jobs. How, where, and why we work is changing beyond all recognition. The question is, what IR 4.0 means to you, us, to the workplace? Our work is our job safe? With AI and automation, jobs are resetting at an accelerated pace and people are having to catch up. IR 4.0 has accelerated that automation of many tasks, leading some to fear artificial intelligence will take their jobs. To embrace this change, companies must focus on upskilling and reskilling. By HR 4.0, a new approach to recruiting, training, and motivating talent, companies can leverage their human capital skill to address crisis in an emerging workforce. I am Khalizani Khalid, Assistant Professor of Management at College of Business, Abu Dhabi University. Now, let's get started.
Hello, Dr. Khalizani. How are you? Good evening.
Alhamdulillah.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to welcome all the participants. It's our great pleasure to have you all here attending the HR professional certification. This is a great platform in order to reunion all the HR managers and staff and employees to learn more about the new trends and the contemporary topics related to HR management. We will have 4 modules tackling the 4 important and crucial areas of HR delivered by our distinguished faculty member at the College of Business at Abu Dhabi University. So we would like to welcome all of you. My name is Professor Shireen Farouk, the Assistant Provost of Academic Project and Associate Dean for Student Success at the College of Business. So I would like to welcome you all, and I'm gonna invite now Professor Khalizani to provide you with the first module, and then we have another one tomorrow and after tomorrow, and the last one, we hope we can see you at Al Ain campus. If no, then it will be delivered also online. So welcome and enjoy your seminar. Thank you so much, Dr. Khalizani.
Thank you, Prof. Shireen.
Thank you.
Okay, so imagine you need to work with humanoid robots, simply capable of complex thoughts and social skills at your workplace. A team of humanoid robots of engineers, operation of executives, and customer services executives are coming together, meeting each other to coordinate this action and expertise to produce an innovative work process. Your work outcome is entirely dependent on how well you can adopt and work well to their way of work that extremely proficient. You start to think about the fact that they are not only robot, and you wonder when you will be losing your job to humanoid. In this course module, I will explain on how we can push reset button of job, what it means to you and the workplace. I will explain the challenges of current jobs to sustain in IR 4.0, no doubt radically change our skills, set, and capabilities. Along the way, I will suggest action steps that we and our organization can take to ensure the impact of IR 4.0 is complementing and augmenting human capabilities, not replacing them. Just before the conclusion, I will share the interesting facts about the UAE in relations to our topic, future-proofing workforce. IR 4.0 made current framework for valuing human capital outdated and insufficient. Why? Future-proofing workforce within companies is now fast widening due to labor shortage plus a skills mismatch. Forum's Future of Job survey shows that companies expect to restructure their workforce in response to new technologies. 55% of companies indicate that they are also looking to transform their composition of their value chain. 43% of companies will introduce further automation, reduce the current workforce, while 34% of companies will invest to expand their workforce as a result of deeper technological integration, and 41% expands the use of contractors for task-specialized work. The reallocation of current tasks between human and machine is already in motion. Future of Jobs reported that by 2025, the average estimated time spent by human machines at work will be at parity based on today's tasks. Algorithm and machines will be primarily focused on tasks of information and data processing and retrieval, administrative tasks, and some aspect of traditional and manual labor. The tasks where humans are expected to retain their comparative advantage, including managing, advising, decision-making, reasoning, communicating, and interacting. Future of Jobs survey mentioned that by 2025, companies is expecting a decline in redundant roles of the workforce to 90%, while emerging professions will grow to 13.5%. It was estimated that 85 million jobs may be displaced by a shift in the division of labor between humans and machine, while 97 million new roles may emerge that are more adapted to the new division of labor between humans, machine, and algorithm across 15 industries and 26 economies. 47% of the current jobs will be automated. Robots will replace 30% of public sector jobs. 50% of jobs will be replaced by AI in the UAE by 2025. In the 2022 version of Future of Survey also revealed that similarities across industries when looking at increasingly strategic and increasingly redundant job roles. The leading position in growing demand are roles such as data analysts and scientists, AI, machine learning specialists, robotic engineers, software and application developers, as well as digital transformation specialists benefited from remote working. However, job roles such as process automation specialists, information security analysts, and Internet of Things specialists are newly emerging among a cohort of roles which are seeing growing demand from employers due to digitalization. The emergence of these roles reflects the acceleration of automation as well as the resurgence of cybersecurity risks. Automation transforming businesses and will contribute to economic growth through contributions to productivity. At the same time, these technologies will transform the nature of work and workplace itself. Machine will be able to carry out more of the tasks done by humans, complement the work that humans do, and even perform some tasks that go beyond the humans can do. As a result, more occupation will decline, others will grow, and more will change. Automation will affect 67% of human work in 2022 and decline to 53% in 2025. How automation and AI affect us? We, as workers, will need to acquire new skills and adapt to the increasingly capable machines alongside us in the workplace. We may have to move from declining occupations to growing and, in some cases, new occupations. Even as AI and automation bring benefits to business and society, we will need to prepare for major disruptions to work. According to McKinsey Global Institute, automation will affect more than 2,000 work activities across more than 800 occupations. These categories of activities are more easily automated than others. They include physical activities in highly predictable and structured environments, as well as data collection and data processing. 97 million growing job demand due to AI and automation. However, 85 million job demands will be decreasing. The bottom line, nearly all occupation will be affected by automation, but only about 5% of occupation could be fully automated. Many more occupations have portions of their components activities that are automatable, which are less as 30% activities in 60% of all occupations could be automated. This means that most workers, from welders to mortgage brokers to CEOs, will work alongside rapid evolving machines. The nature of this occupation will likely change as a result. Such job destruction is counterbalanced by job creation in new fields, in which the jobs of tomorrow. Over the coming decade, an inevitable share of newly created jobs will be in wholly new occupations or existing occupations undergoing significant transformation in terms of the content and skill requirements. Data derived from countries such as Australia, Brazil, Canada, India, Ireland, Saudi Arabia, Singapore, South Africa, Sweden, and the UAE identified 99 jobs that are consistently growing in demand across 20 economies. This resulting set of emerging professions reflects the adoption of new technologies and increasing demand of new products and services, which are driving greater demand for green economy jobs, roles at the forefront of the data and AI economy, as as well as new roles in engineering, cloud computing, and product development. In addition, the emerging professions showcase the continuing importance of human interaction in a new economy through roles in the care economy, in marketing, sales, and content production, as well as roles where a facility or aptitude for understanding and being comfortable working with different types of people from different backgrounds is critical. Hence, appropriate reskilling and upskilling to address overall labor shortage due to skill mismatch. By 2025, companies is expecting a decline in redundant roles of the workforce, while emerging profession will grow to 13%. Therefore, 50% of jobs will be replaced by AI in the UAE by 2025. The ability of companies to harness the growth potential of new technological adoption is hindered by skills shortages. Future of Job report shows that skill gaps in the local labor market and the ability to attract the right talent remain among the leading barriers to the adoption of new technologies. This finding is consistent across the companies surveyed countries, including the UAE. In the absence of ready talent, employers is providing access to reskilling and upskilling to 62% of their workforce. Employers are willing to expand the provision to a further 11% of their workforce by 2025. However, employee engagement into those courses is lagging, with only 42% of employees taking up employer-supported reskilling and upskilling opportunities. Greater adoption of technology will mean in-demand skills across jobs change over the next 5 years, and skills gap will continue to be high. Critical thinking, problem solving, top the list of skill employers believe will grow in prominence in the next 5 years. These are being consistent since the first Future of Jobs survey in 2016. But newly emerging in this year are skills in self-management such as active learning, resilience, stress tolerance, and flexibility. Skill shortages are more critical in emerging professions, while an exact skill match is not a prerequisite to making a job transition. The long-term productivity of employees is determined by their mastery of key competencies. Employers must strategize their effort to fill the demand of cross-functional skills through appropriate reskilling and upskilling. Cross-functional skills are those skills that are applicable and easily transferable across many occupations and roles. These include groups such as critical thinking and analysis, as well as problem solving, which are stayed at the top of the agenda with a year-on-year consistency according to Future of Jobs survey. 50% of the employees will need reskilling by 2025. As adoption of technology increases, half of us will need to reskill in the next 5 years. As double disruptions of economic impact of pandemic and increasing automation transforming jobs takes hold. But the very technological disruption that is transforming jobs can also provide the key to creating them and help us learn new skills. For those workers who stayed in their roles, the share of core skills that will change by 2025 is 40%. If the future of job is not singular, desperate impact will be felt across industries. However, this condition is depending on initial starting conditions, skill availability, technology adoption, and adaptability of the workforce. According to Boston Consulting Group, 97% of respondents are willing to retain in any situation. 29% would do so if they hit serious roadblocks in job search. These figures shows that demand for digital jobs are hot and workers want to keep learning more. Online job posting are exploding with demand for skills in area of AI, robotics, automation is exploding and growing more than 40% a year. This led why learning and training rank second in importance among dozens of job factors. Rainer Streck, managing director and senior partners at BCG, mentioned that in the near future, the world will face a global workforce crisis consisting of an overall labor shortage plus a skills mismatch. Every company needs a people strategy to act on it immediately. There is a huge skilling challenge ahead of us. 94% of business leaders now expect employees to pick up new skills on the job. It was estimated that around 40% of workers will require reskilling for 6 months or less, but the number is higher for those in the consumer industry and in the health and healthcare industry. Boston Consulting Group again mentioned that majorities at all education levels are willing to retrain, but the percentage falls off at the highest level of education. In the financial services and energy sector, the share of workers who can be reskilled within 6 months is lower because they will need more time-intensive programs. 59% of employers will provide training internally utilizing online learning opportunities for their workers. Coursera, online learning training provider founded by University of Stanford professors, reported that it could take more than just 1 to 2 months to acquire one of its top 10 mastery skills in emerging professions across people and culture, content writing, and sales and marketing. It took 2 or 3 months for learners to expand their skills in product and development, data, and AI, while 4 months learning program could help people move into roles in cloud and engineering. However, although learning a new skill set is increasingly accessible to digital technologies, individuals will also need the time and funding to be able to pursue new technologies and opportunities. It was estimated that in 5 years from now, machine will be doing as much work as human. That means millions of jobs will be displaced. 50% of employees agrees on the importance of providing tools and opportunities for employees to apply newly acquired AI skills to their day-to-day work. So millions of workers will have to change what they do for a living. And even those who are not likely to have to adopt new skills. Whether you are required reskilling or upskilling or not, in every single job, there is the expectation that at least 50% of the core skill in the job are going to change. Now, there's a massive number for us to absorb. It basically means that 5 years from now, roughly half of what we are doing currently is going to look different in terms of tasks that we do. Majorities educational level are willing to retrain, but the percentage falls at the highest level of education. 3% of jobs will be potentially automated by AI. By the mid of 2030s, as AI advances and becomes more autonomous, 3% of jobs and 44% of workers with low level of education will be at risk of automation. In the next 5 years, half of all workers will require some upskilling or reskilling to prepare for changing and new job. The rapid phase of technological change requires new models for training that prepare employees for an AI-based future. True upskilling requires a citizen-led approach focused on applying new knowledge to develop an AI-ready mindset. Employers should view upskilling and reskilling as an investment in the future of their organization, not as an expense. Employers sees and have more appetite for retraining is highest among people in sales, administrative, and service jobs. This finding is consistent with the report that found these roles, which are set to be increasingly redundant by 2025 due to automation, the AI remain largely consistent with the job roles identified in 2018. This resulting sets of emerging professions reflects the adoption of new technologies and increasingly demand for new products and services, which are driving greater demand for green economy jobs. Roles at the forefront of the data and AI economy. The emerging professions showcase the continuing importance of human interaction in the new economy through roles and care economy, marketing, sales, content production, in which being comfortable working with different types of people from different backgrounds is critical. Young people now want to be retrained the most, but strong majorities of the elderly also want to improve their skills. The report suggests that current education system and training models cannot provide employees with reliable, lasting skills. By the time a student graduates from university and join the workforce, many of skills that they have learned are already out of date. And given the intense pace of change, this means that learning can no longer happen in the first decade of life in preparation for the rest of the life. Rather, the best employees will be learning through their lives, and this learning will take place at work. The fact that ways of working are changing provides a prime opening to introduce innovative ways of learning as well. Employees are becoming as tailored to change, to self-direction, and to a different relationship with employers and managers. It's now more possible than ever to create learning on the job paradigms that match education, employment, and emphasize lifelong learning, preparing workers for the ongoing challenges that requires for reskilling and upskilling. As changes to work accelerate, employees are bearing witness to the fundamental shift away from the linear transition made by workers in the previous points of history from school into specialized training, into work, and then along a progressive career ladder defined by increasing responsibility within an established occupation structure. In the labor market, workers found important relation between profession with significant different skill set and navigate mid-career job transition accompanied by substantial reskilling and upskilling. Those are as important to the success of firms as well they are to the prosperity of workers. Without such important skill shortages, it will remain endemic, and scarcity of adequately skilled individual to fill the job of tomorrow will lead to a persistent productivity lack. 2 out of 3 employees expect a return on investment from reskilling within a year. The route to unlocking the value of human potential in tandem with profitability is to employ a good job strategy, halting the erosion of wages, making work meaningful and purposeful, expanding employees' sense of growth and achievement, promoting and developing talent on the basis of merit, and proactively designing against biases. These are important as these are considered as decent jobs. Building the required skills is a critical component of a company strategy that will deliver the biggest payoff. It lets an organization improve precisely the skill it needs in the ways that will work effectively for its organization without the growing pains of integrating new employees, and it sets the stage for the extension of those skills. Building skills in-house also sidesteps the cost of simply hiring new people for a new role. As the marketplace continues to evolve, call for up-to-date skills, employees need to find a place to acquire the necessary learning opportunities. Companies that address this need can make a learning ecosystem part of their value proposition to attract and retain employees. And when an employer demonstrates dedication to its workforce by investing in education and development, it gains more measure of employee loyalty. Once a company leadership team decides to build a learning ecosystem, the effort must be comprehensive and deliberate. It must address learning for all employees, be planned in a way that integrates corporate strategy, and have clear metrics as well as rewards for both the enterprise and the employees. It must be adaptable to the scenarios where humans work with robots side by side or in some kind of hierarchical relationship. And it must be designed for inevitable change. An adaptable and flexible learning ecosystem will allow for perpetual learning as it learns to adapt. Fundamental to this strategy are 2 interconnected, ambitious priorities which, between them, have the power to pave the way to a better, more productive, and more rewarding future at work, which increasing company oversight of strategic people metrics and effective job transitions from declining to emerging roles through well-funded reskilling and upskilling mechanisms. No one can offer one-size-fits-all solution for companies that need to build a learning ecosystem. Certainly, customization will be needed at every level. In fact, we don't believe that a one-size-fits-all solution exists, given the ongoing rapid challenge. Such a solution might always be a moving target, and appropriately so. With that in mind, one principle of any company's approach to learning must be an emphasis on the know-how rather than simplistic know-what. The learning ecosystem must maintain a focus of this overarching goal. Learners, employees need to learn not only specific skills, but also the ability to think critically about how to adapt and extrapolate those skills. Learning is a CEO issue, a large-scale, digitally orientation skill, reskilling initiative is a core aspect of sustainable transformation requires the CEO's attention. The attention doesn't stop once high-level strategy has been established. The CEO must be involved throughout. First step is to create strategic workforce plan. Strategic workforce plan must quantify mid and long-term talent gaps by mapping employees' skills against current and future needs. Learning must become part of daily rhythms and routines. Employers designing learning ecosystem should resist the temptation to rely too heavily on traditional learning models like online courses, and instead develop experiential learning models or programs that encourage learners to get used to learning while on the job. Secondly, launch targeted upskilling program. Targeted upskilling programs must be defined in a broad portfolio of learning intervention. Involves existing employees, recruiting new employees, and acquiring companies with desired capability and skill to fill the gaps. Learning has to be embedded in the workflow. There are 4 essential elements that must always be present for this to work. 1, the learning must be adaptable. 2, the employees must have consistent access to their learning on the job. 3, lesson should incorporate games, be social, and finally, the learning must be measured. Steps is embracing learning contract. Employees and employees should enter into 21st century learning contract. An agreement, a new kind of social contract for learning, must be in place to outline the ways in which employees and the enterprise will share accountability for learning and align to the pathways and skills in the learning. This is where the commitment is formalized between the company and the employees to reskilling and upskilling. The learning contract gives employees clarity into the company's goals and empowers them to take ownership and be accountable to their learning and growth, be continuously anticipating, and develop new skills accordingly. Here, managers must transform from taskmasters to learning coaches. Managers in a new role will have the responsibility and the capacity to communicate to employees the skills that have values because they contribute to achieving corporate goals. Fourthly, adopting latest learning technologies. Learning strategies must leverage insight from the cognitive and behavioral sciences. Cutting-edge technologies such as mobile apps, augmented reality, and gamification are powerful tools for real-time on-site learning, revealing insights about the way people learn, leading to new techniques that are designed to build on human motivation and learning processes. Learning programs are already taking advantage of these brain science techniques with efficient and influential innovations such as badges to mark progress through multi-part tasks and digital nudges to encourage behavioral change. These and effective space education companies are using techniques such as the spacing effect, retrieval practice, and confidence-based learning to improve outcomes. Fifthly, building continuous learning culture in company. Enterprises must offer recognition to learners and employees. This principle applies throughout the ecosystem because it encompasses so much, recognizing and respecting the needs and inputs of each employees, providing incentive for learning, and positioning employers as an issuers of credentials, providing certification that signals individual valuable accomplishment and prowess to those inside and outside of the enterprise. Companies must incorporate incentives to encourage and motivate employees to learn new skills as part of their talent management and performance assessment policies and procedures. This approach will encourage employees to adopt a continuous growth mindset. And finally, upskilling to the wider society. It's both possible and imperative to create a successful learning ecosystem. Of course, no workplace learning program can or should be an entirely altruistic offering designed simply to ensure that employees have up-to-date skills that keep them marketable. It's also true, though, that leaders have an obligation to leave their companies stronger and more capable than they were when they inherited them. This mandate includes a responsibility to employees and a broader societal obligation to advance development and well-being. Thus, though building a comprehensive digital age learning ecosystem is an overwhelming task, doing so is essential for reasons both mission critical and altruistic. But remember, digital is an indispensable aid to the development of our perpetual learning system. The ecosystem we create will incorporate learning about digital, about working alongside intelligent machines, and will use digital learning approaches. When it comes to leading and learning in the digital age, a savvy CEO can and should make the humanoids an ally by harnessing its power to improve learning and prepare for change. Here are the key findings from the report based on the UAE profile. The working age population in the UAE is about around 1 million with age 25 and over. The progress score for education, skills, job, and work indicator is more than 50%. Due to COVID-19, 90% of companies provide more opportunities to work remotely. Only 48% of employees accelerate automation of tasks. Analytical thinking, innovation, complex problem solving, critical thinking skills are identified as being in a high demand within the surveyed companies in the UAE. The result is consistent to findings of my research findings published in 2021. The result is consistent with my research and the paper that has been published in 2021, where is benchmarked the emerging skill perceived by business, engineering, and postgraduate students, as well faculty of Abu Dhabi University against the UAE business leaders. The sample consists of 16 business students, 12 engineering students, 33 postgraduate students, 19 faculty, and 25 UAE private sector leaders. However, the benchmark found gaps between emerging skills required by business leaders and the emerging skills leveled by business engineering postgraduate students, as well as perceived by the faculty. These tables provide the list of skills that are focused on existing companies in reskilling and upskilling programs among the service companies in the UAE. Active learning and learning strategies, leadership and social influence, analytical skills, analytical thinking, and innovations are ranked as the priority for reskilling and upskilling, where 98% employers expect existing employees to pick skills on the job, and 31% employers provide less than a month for their employees to reskilling and upskilling. Now we can reimagine the future of work, how impact the ethics, moral, and economic imperatives. The nature of work and careers is changing fast. In the future, the right skill will be prized over academic qualifications alone. Current workers set remain in their roles in the next 5 years. They need reskilling for their core skill. Consider supporting people to find their own sense of purpose and realize their full potential to develop a purpose-led and future-proofing workforce. This is equipping people to lead the change rather than change done to them. Pioneering employment to provide flexibility with security, putting mental health and well-being at the forefront of preparing future-proofing workforce that is career adaptable with meaningful action. Employers can help employees to follow reskilling and other career pathways by ensuring they understand their own personal purpose, providing the support they need to feel happy and healthy, and giving them a sense of belonging. Remember, by putting employees at the heart of the future of work, employees are able to thrive and adapt and grow as they are empowered to proactively shape the future at work. Thanks again for taking your time to attend this course. Thank you very much. If you have a question, feel free to ask. Thank you. No question from the participants? When it comes to the field that are more demanding by 2035 is more towards the technology, the IoT, AI, because when it comes to work, let's talk about big data. Okay, even for example, HR requires big data to make decision in terms of their future talents. What needs to be done for the current employees? What skills are required? To what extent the reskilling is needed? The upskilling is needed? How would you change the perceptions of the current employees towards the use of robots alongside with their work? So basically, the technology, the AI, IoT needs to be embedded into our work, regardless of field, because those are the core, the fundamental in complementing the current job or work. Any other question? Thank you, Mr. Hasham Asif. And thank you very much to those who attended the course, the module. The cost of bringing AI on board, how soon are we likely to see it coming in the construction industry? I'm not fully aware what is really happening in the construction industry, but I do believe to a certain extent they already use AI in architecture, because they're using AI in drawing, in environmental analysis, in feasibility study, to see what is happening when they are using certain materials in construction in comparing to others. I believe to a certain extent those benchmarking using AI are very beneficial to ensure that the most materials can be used while retaining the cost for the company. I hope it answers your question, Mr. Denver. You're most welcome. Yes.
Yes, I just wanted to add or to recall regarding the skills, the importance of skills on our, HR, determining the employees. Skills are very, very important when they're, employing the employees. Certain things like skills, testing their skills, relating it to the work that they actually applied for. Are they actually, I will say, do they meet the requirements, before employing them? And I think that is very, very important. Testing skills, nowadays people are doing it. It's been taking place in so many workplaces, around the globe. People are considering the skill test before employing any, employees or any new intakes in the workplace.
Yeah.
So yes, and talking about the robots working with the robots. Where exactly have we started that at the moment? Is there any working place, that is actually using robots or working with robots at the moment?
If I'm not mistaken, Sheikh Khalifa SKMC, Sheikh Khalifa Medical City, had tested do an operation using robots with a supervision by the surgeon.
Okay.
Basically, it's 99% done by the robot.
Okay. That's a good initiative.
Yeah, it started moving towards that.
Okay, thank God then. Hopefully we will also, it will spread soon.
Yeah, inshallah. And when it comes
Inshallah.
to the assessment prior to the talent acquisitions, that is what happened. That is what
Exactly.
being found by my
Yes.
research, where
Mhm.
because currently most of the organization, they don't want to put much investment into trainings. They expect
Yes.
that when you join the organization, you already
Mhm.
have the skills, you already have what it
Exactly.
takes to do the
Exactly.
task, to do the
That's
job.
it. That's it. And at the
Yeah.
end, you realize that the employees, sorry to cut you realize that the employees are not fit. And instead of doing probation to check on them, the skill testing will be the best, fit for them to start with
Yes.
before, rather than taking the probation or contracts, you test
Exactly.
them, and then before terminating the contract or probation, using that, I guess, or even induction, I guess, testing them through the skills will make it much more easier and, fast, and you don't have to be waiting, for them to check on them, on probation. You don't need to wait. You already have all the requirements and the records and everything that they are ready. You decide, you can decide to take them. You can make your own decision based on those test skill results. You see?
It's all about immediate. So once you
Yes,
come into the into the organization, you set foot into the organization, you know what needs to be done.
exactly. So I guess this is the best idea at the moment. Yeah. Right
Yes.
now, I'm not seeing many of us in Africa here, the African region here, that are using the test skills. Rather, we use the probation, or I'll say they'll use the word contract, for some time, maybe like 6 months.
Yeah, that
And
is
if they
common for
find out,
6 months.
yes, exactly. If they find out that you're fit enough and they're satisfied, then they will do the appraisal. Then after that will be the time they will decide whether you
Yes.
succeeded or not. Yes.
That is a
So
common practice by the organization.
exactly. What the test skill, the talent acquisition or the test skill, I guess that's even the much more smoother, means of deciding on these employees,
Actually, it
new
will
intakes. Yeah,
reduce the time, reduce the money for the organization as well in the
exactly,
talent acquisition process.
exactly. Yeah.
Thank you very much,
All
Miss.
right. Thank you.
How to pronounce your name? I'm so sorry.
Khadija to Drame. Khadija to
Miss
Drame,
Miss
Gambia.
Miss
Miss
Khadija.
Khadija to Drame,
Yeah,
yes. Miss Khadija to Drame.
Miss Khadija Tudrami. All right.
Yes, it's
Thank
the
you
same
very
as
much. No,
Khadija. Same as
yes,
Khadija.
yes,
Just yes, just our way of pronouncing. We're using,
yes.
the word, yeah, but it's just the same as Khadija.
Thank you very much for your input, for your views, Miss Khadija. Thank you
Thank you
very
very
much.
much. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. Too.
And Mr. Arif asked, do you think these changes are applicable to developing countries? Yes, definitely, because it applies to all countries, especially now. Due to globalization, there is no barriers for the employment across border. Definitely, definitely, these changes also applicable in developing countries. For example, most of the big companies now is moving their companies to the low cost labor countries, so that the low cost labor countries must have the capability to meet the requirements of these companies to enable them to attract the foreign direct investment. So they need to prepare their own talent pool, their own labor to attract these foreign investment to come to them and be the host for the foreign companies. You're most welcome, Mr. Arif. I hope them answer satisfies you and really answer your question. Alhamdulillah. Okay, what are the effects of this development on nationalization? I believe that each country has their own agenda when it comes to nationalization. They need to protect their own people so that reskilling, upskilling, the future skills needs to be given. Okay, prioritizations need to be given to their own people. That is what the UAE has been doing through the Emiratizations. Even the UAE is given the big data training, the AI training for the locals, for the Emirati, to enable the Emirati to have or to fulfill the developments in the IR4.0, especially the UAE is the emerging countries. And to sustain and to develop rapidly, they need this expertise. They need to have this talent within the country, not relying so much on the expats, on the outsiders. Mr. Andrew, am I answering your question? You're most welcome. Mr. Ibrahim, do we still have time for question and answer? Mr. Ibrahim? Since there is no more questions, thank you very much.
One more question.
Yes, yes, please.
Everything is understood. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Khadija, and for those who ask questions, who are being here in this evening. Thank you for participating in this module and attending to this module.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. I hope you will have a very great evening.
Inshallah. I mean, thank you very much. Same
Take
to
care.
you. The same to you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Khadija. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
See you tomorrow.